Hello, today we are going to learn about tariff versus quota. Okay, let's get started with the lesson. Okay, tariff is on your left and quota is on your right. Okay, so in this case, suppose that the country imports good X from another country. We import goods X from another country and the world price is equal to 10. So in this case, you can see that S plus W, this is including the number of imports, okay, quantity, domestic quantity supplied and also the number of imports. Okay, so the number of imports after the country open up its economy to trade, so it imports 7 units of good X. 8 minus 1, okay, quantity demanded is actually 8, and then quantity supplied, domestic quantity supplied is equal to 1. So the number of imports is actually 8 minus 1, so you will get 7. In this curve also you will get 7 because quantity after the government imposes we import good X from another country, so quantity demanded is also 8 and the quantity supplied, domestic quantity supplied is also 1, so the number of imports is actually equal to 7. Okay, so now if this curve, if the government imposes a tariff first, okay, so what happens to our tariff curve? So it will shift our supply curve from S plus W, it will shift from S plus W to S plus T. Okay, and then you can see that the price will increase after the government imposes an tariff of 10 ringgit. Okay, so it means that it will increase by 10s. So 10 is actually the amount of tariff the government imposes. Okay, so you can see that if after the price increases from 10 to 20, so you can see that quantity demanded, the quantity supplied will increase from 1 to 3. So this is actually what the government try to protect. Okay, and then you can see that quantity demanded will drop from 8 to 6. Okay, so because of what? Because the price increases from 10 to 20. So domestic quantity supplied will increase from 1 to 3. And then quantity demanded will drop from 8 to 6 because the price increases. Okay, so in this case, if you can see that 6 minus 3 is equal to 3. So this is actually the number of imports after the government imposes a tariff. Okay, after the government imposes a tariff of 10 ringgit, so the price will increase, so the number of imports will be reduced from 7 to 3. So in this case, we are going to use the same number also. So before that, before we imposes, the government imposes the import quota. So we import 7 units of good X from another country. Now, if the government imposes an import quota, so it means that S plus W, it will shift to S plus Q. Okay, how many units of good X after the government imposes import quota? It depends on the government. Okay, it depends on the quota that the government sets. If the government limits to only 3 units of good X, so it means that the country can import only 3 units of good X. So you can see that the number of imports is equal to 3. Okay, 6 minus 3. This is actually the number of imported goods and the number of imported good X that the country can import. So when the government imposes the import quota, so it means that the price will increase from 10 to 20. We use the same number, we use the same figure. So in this case, you can see that after the government imposes tariff, the country can import only the country imports 3 units, and this one also 3 units. Okay, the number of imports also 3 units, and the price is also the same after the government imposed tariff and quota. So you can see that the price will increase to 20 also for the both of the curves. Okay, so next, what happens if we can see that if we assume that an increase in demand, so we want to see whether tariff is more restrictive or quota is more restrictive. So if in this case, if we have an increase in demand and a shift in demand curve from D0, it will shift to D1. So you can see that quantity demanded will increase from 6, it will increase to 9. Okay, so the price remain the same, it will remains at 20. So you can see that the number of imports will increase from, okay, it will increase from 3 to 6. Okay, 9 minus 3 is equal to 6. So the number of imports will increase after the shift in the demand curve from D0 to D1. Okay, so the number of imports will increase from 3 minus 3, you will get 3. From this number, it will increase to 9. Okay, it will increase to 6. Okay, 9 minus 3 is equal to 6. Okay, so in this case, the price doesn't change, but the quantity of the number of imports increase. Okay, for the quota, you can see that after the government, if after the shift, after a shift in the demand curve from D0 to D1, so you can see that our quantity demanded will increase from 6 to 7. Okay, so quantity demanded will increase from 6 to 7, and then quantity supplied will increase also from 3 to 4. Okay, from 3 to 4. So the number of imports will remain the same at 3 units of good X only. Okay, so 7 minus 4 is equal to 3. Okay, so it means that in this case, you can see that the price will increase from 20 to 30. Okay, so after the government imposes the import quota, the price will increase from 20 to 30. If after the government imposes the import tariff, the price remain the same, it doesn't change. Okay, it will remain the same at 20 ringgit only. Okay, so you can see that the number of imports increase to, so you can see that the number of imports for tariff is 6 units of good X, and then the number of imports in quota, it remains the same, it's still 3. Because why? Because the government has limited already to 3 units of good X only can be brought into the country. Even though there's a shift, there's an increase in demand, so D will shift to D1, so you can see that it will not increase the number of imports. It remains the same at 3 units of good X. Okay, but for tariff, it will increase the number of imports when we see there's a shift in the demand curve or there's an increase in demand. Okay, so that's all for today.